Is this thing on? Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Voice Podcast, a podcast by students for students. My name is Tiffany, and I am one of the hosts, and I'm joined today by Anna, Sydney, and Chloe. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How are we doing?
Hi.
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for asking. All right. So at the beginning of each episode of the podcast, we like to do a little tell me about yourself. So Anna, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name's Anna. I'm a third-year nursing student, and we're just here doing this podcast about the myths and facts of COVID. Especially since we're a nursing student in the program, it's it's really important for us to learn about this pandemic stuff, and also to let the public know about what the truths are and what the myths are, etc.
For sure. There's a lot of conflicting information going around, especially around the topic of masks. So it's really nice to have somebody clear it up. And I think it's really an interesting thing that you guys get to deal with during your education that normally wouldn't be part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's different. But all the changes we're seeing with the curriculum and stuff, it's definitely a learning curve. But I think that it's really cool to be, in school when all this is happening.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, Chloe, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Chloe, and I'm also a third-year nursing student. And like Anna said, we'll be talking about myths and facts about wearing a mask. Really excited.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. All right, and Sydney, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Sydney. I am also a third-year nursing student, and we're just excited to talk today.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to ask some questions, and then you guys are going to tell me whether it's myth or fact. So, Anne, I'm going to start with a few for you. All right, myth or fact, you can get acne or develop skin issues when wearing a face mask for long periods of time.
So unfortunately, this is a fact, but to help prevent this, you should wash your face with warm water every day, and a gentle soap also, and apply moisturizer after.
Wow, yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely, unfortunately, falling victim to the mask acne problem.
I think a lot of us are realizing that this is the new truth.
Yeah, it's unfortunate of all the things that could happen, right? All right, myth or fact, only people who are sick need to wear a mask.
So this is a myth. Everyone should be wearing a mask because, especially since you can be asymptomatic, which means that you have COVID, but you're not necessarily showing symptoms. So you can be spreading it to people if you're not wearing a mask. It's just safest when everyone wears a mask to limit the virus spread.
For sure. And so that's why we have regulations for mandatory mask wearing. Yeah, cool. Okay, you need to wear your mask when outside.
This is half true. At this time, being outside is generally considered safer than being inside. When taking a stroll or participating in other outdoor activities by yourself or with people you live with, a mask isn't required. However, when you find it difficult to maintain at least 6 feet of distance between people you don't live with, such as exercising on a sidewalk, which is busy, or eating out at a restaurant, it's important to have your mask on. And you should always have your mask on when you leave your home as a general rule.
For sure. So can you give us an example of like a place where social distancing might be difficult, even in an outdoor setting?
Yeah, the other day I was walking down the sidewalk downtown, and it was really busy and it was really packed. And so I just put my mask on because social distancing, keeping 6 feet was really difficult, especially when people are going past you and walking the opposite way of you, things like that. Or if you're in a busy park, things like that.
For sure. I find downtown Kingston especially can be difficult to maintain any kind of social distance. The sidewalks, unfortunately, are not terribly wide. Some of the outdoor patios have kind of restricted a little bit of that walking space, and it is busy. So, I think it's a really great idea that we let people know that they should be wearing a mask if they feel that it's busy enough they can't maintain their distance from people.
Yes.
So that's a good one. Okay, and myth or fact, masks will weaken your immune system.
It will not. Your body should just continue to work as it should. Having something just over your mouth and nose really won't make a difference in your immune system.
Okay, amazing. Thanks a lot, Anna. So I'm going to let Chloe tell us some. All right.
Okay.
Myth or fact, COVID is not real and you don't need to wear a mask.
It is real. There are hundreds of new confirmed cases in Ontario caused by COVID. Luckily, there are 14 cases in Kingston, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to get COVID. There could be someone out there in public who doesn't have any symptoms. So wearing a mask can significantly reduce the risk of getting COVID. So it is absolutely necessary to wear a mask in public.
That's some great advice. Yeah, as Anna said earlier, too, asymptomatic transmission's a big thing, especially with COVID. So
Right.
that's why mask wearing is so important. Okay, if you wear your mask for a long time, it could cause carbon dioxide poisoning or carbon monoxide poisoning.
So the fact that is that it doesn't. We might rebreathe the carbon dioxide we breathe out, but it will be removed by our respiratory and metabolic system. Oxygen and carbon dioxide are tiny particles that can easily pass through the fabric of the mask. And CDC recommends wearing cloth masks while in public, and this option is very breathable. There is no risk of hypoxia, which is a condition caused by lower oxygen level. Carbon dioxide will just freely diffuse through your mask as you breathe.
Oh, it's good to know. All right. Myth or fact, your baby can wear a mask.
Well, it depends. If your baby is over 2 years old, your baby can wear a mask. But CDC and WHO recommends that children under 2 should not wear any face covering because the baby's airway is much smaller than the adults. So breathing through a mask is harder and may increase the risk of suffocation.
Okay, well, how would we protect our babies if they can't wear masks?
So it would be best to limit exposure, and it is recommended to use a covering over your baby's carrier or the strollers covers, which could help to protect your baby from droplets and also allows your baby to breathe without having a risk of suffocation.
And they make some of those car seat covers and those stroller covers so
Right.
fashionable. Have you ever
I
seen them?
know.
They're so cool. I
Mhm.
love them. They come in so many cool patterns. All right. Next, myth or fact, cloth masks are not as effective as an N95.
Fact that is cloth masks are effective. They can protect your nose and mouth from large droplets, such as from coughing and sneezing. Different masks, such as N95 and other types of medical masks, are for different purposes and for different people. The general public who do not work in the healthcare environment are advised to conserve N95 for those who are working in the healthcare setting. Again, cloth masks are highly effective for the general public.
Okay, good to know. All right, and you can make cloth masks with any kind of available fabric.
So it is recommended to use woven cotton, like we mentioned several times. The use of the cloth mask is to protect ourselves and others from droplets. So if you make it with fabric such as a mesh or very thin fabric, it may not be as effective as the face mask made with a woven cotton. So it is always best to make one or buy one with multiple layers of fabric, and it can provide extra layers of protection.
Okay. Okay, so let's give Sydney a turn at some myths and facts. All right, so myth or fact, you need to wash your cloth face mask.
So this is a fact. You do need to be washing your face coverings after every use to reduce the risk of spreading germs. Most cloth masks are able to be put in a washing machine or be hand washed and then either hang to dry or dried. And after all, you are putting the mask to your face, so I want to make sure it's clean.
I would too. So what are some of the risks associated with not washing your mask, other than, of course, the spreading of germs?
You're breathing into your mask for however long it's on you, and if you're like walking around in public.
Okay, yeah. I've also heard that there is a chance that with the increased presence of moisture from your breath, you can grow some pretty gross stuff in between the
Yeah.
layers too. So we definitely want to be washing those masks, everyone. Be careful. All right. Myth or fact, face masks are one of the most effective ways of containing the virus.
This is a fact. COVID-19 can be spread through close contact, such as coughing or sneezing. So wearing your mask prevents the spread of droplets from person to person. Any droplets that may be expelled by someone not wearing a mask will be protected. You'll be protected by your mask. So wearing masks keeps others safe from you as well.
Okay, great. All right. So to be effective, masks need to cover the mouth and nose.
This is a fact as well. Particles can be expelled through your nose and your mouth, and can also enter the nose and the mouth. So if either the nose and the mouth are exposed, this is exposing yourself to the droplets. The mask should be covering from the bridge of your nose to the bottom of your chin in order to be most effective to cover the whole area of the face.
Okay, great. All right. Face shields are effective, but not recommended for daily use.
So this is another option of masks that we can see sometimes are just the plastic coverings. So these are somewhat effective at containing the particles, but the difference between the shields and a mask is that particles can still escape through the sides and the bottom of the plastic shield. And then it's also important to remember to clean the face shield just as you would a mask, just by wiping off the plastic with the cleanser.
Oh, that's a good point. What would you recommend people like wipe plastic surfaces with?
I would say just a soap and a water.
Okay.
Antibacterial.
All right. And our last big question, myth or fact, I do not need a mask if I keep my physical distance.
This is a myth. Droplets can travel through the air when a person sneezes or coughs, and this means that the droplets are still able to reach you even if you are physically distancing with your 6 feet. This is why we need masks even if we are physical distancing in public.
Okay, awesome. These have been some very educational myths and facts. I think a lot of them by now we should know, and we don't always. So thank you so much for having this little session and teaching us the myths and facts surrounding your face masks. All right. Well, thank you so much, Anna, Chloe, and Sydney. And that will be it for us this evening, everyone. If you have any other questions about masks or anything, make sure to stick it in the comments. Make sure that you follow us on our social media channels. So we are the Voice Podcast on YouTube. We are at SA Voice Podcast on Instagram. And you can also listen to the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, and Apple Podcast. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.